Hi there, my name is Edirin Edewor, and I want to be sharing with you on what you should be doing in your solo online business. If you run a solo online business, whether you are a coach, a trainer, a consultant, an expert in your business, and you are racking your head every day, waking up and wondering what else should I be doing apart from posting content on social media, creating products and trying to sell. What else should I be doing in my business? I want to share with you some things that you need to be doing, not just random stuff, but to basically break it down to you to show you how you should, structure your activities so that you know exactly where you should be and what you should be doing at every point in order to actually make this a business. Okay, so it is possible that whether you're in business for a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, maybe even more, that you may have been overlooking some important aspects of your business and your business process and activities because you don't yet have structure. And structure is a very difficult thing for people to understand, especially when you run a small business, because a lot of people see structure as something that only needs to happen when you have a large organization or when you have employed people. You need structure, you need some probably some organizational structure or some SOPs and manuals, but it can be really difficult when you run your business by yourself. Maybe you just have one VA or you don't even have anybody yet and it's just you. So it can be difficult to ask yourself, how do I actually structure my day, my weeks, my months, my years to ensure that this business is productive and isn't killing me and making me have burnout and overwhelm. Yet I find myself in a hamster wheel going round and round, wondering what I should be doing and wondering why my business isn't growing. Okay. So structure doesn't have to be a scary or complicated process that's only reserved for people who have employees or people in the corporate space. It also doesn't mean that you have to have a business degree to understand structure. Structure, in its simplest terms, basically means a simple process that allows you to do the things that matter in a way that is profitable and productive both for you and for the business. That is what structure is all about. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to involve you having multiple PDFs and multiple Google documents just to be able to run your business. No. And I'm going to show you exactly the kind of structures that I use for my own business as somebody who literally has just one other employee. And running my business, and I've been able to run a six-figure business, and I've been able to do business in a way that has been profitable for me and allowed me to live a life of freedom in the past 6 7 years. Okay, so again, like I said before, your process is a lot simpler and a lot more flexible as a solo entrepreneur or as a small business owner compared to people who have massive employees and massive systems and massive businesses that may be a bit difficult or inflexible or slow to change. The pandemic showed us that businesses that were not able to quickly adapt to the immediate change were the businesses that actually went out of business. But those who actually were able to have plans or ways to be flexible, especially small business owners, were able to thrive simply because it was easy for us to change our structures and to adapt to our new realities. So, what should you be doing in your business so it finally feels like a business and pays you? Okay. So, when you wake up every morning, do you ask yourself, what do I do today? My to do list looks very confusing and it looks the same as yesterday and last week's and last 2 weeks. And yet, I feel like I should be doing something more. So, I want to share with you the things that you should be doing every year or the things you should be doing every half year or every quarter, monthly, weekly, and or daily tasks. These are things that have worked for me and worked for a lot of my clients in different niches that run solo entrepreneurial businesses online, especially if you're an expert, you are an online service provider, you're a coach, you're a consultant, you create online courses, you teach your classes online, you do webinars, you do speaking engagements, and all those sorts. This is especially good for you because that's the kind of business that I do as an author, as a publisher, as a digital product creator, and all of that. It actually helps me to have semblance of structure in my business and allows me to be able to grow, scale, and actually monitor my progress. Okay, so we'll take them one after the other. So first of all, what should you be doing yearly? This is the tasks that you should be focused on doing once a year at least. Okay, so the tasks that I do every year in my business, I have an annual business audit. So I actually set aside about 2 days where I take a retreat for about a week or two, and I set aside 2 days to focus on doing the proper business audit. So what am I looking at? I look at my numbers, I look at my total revenue, I look at my total sales, I look at the profit compared to the entire revenue. I basically look at all the numbers that are important in my business. How much did my mailing list grow? How much did my Facebook group grow? How much did my clientele go? How many of my clients did I retain? You know, all of those numbers. I think I'll probably do a separate video about the number metrics that you should be looking out for in your business. But for this one, I'm focusing on major activities. You also want to look at your growth rates, your goals and targets, your overall business health. Is my business suffering, or is my business getting healthier, or is it just remaining the same? Okay. Many times people look at revenue and say, "Oh my, I made more money this year than I did last year." Yet you can't necessarily find a profit because you probably spent a lot more in your business. So business health is also a very important thing you want to look out for. You also want to look at your annual vision and strategy alignment session. You want to do that with yourself as well. This is something that you want to do while you're doing your annual business audit as well. Okay, so I look at my annual vision. At the beginning of the year, I set a vision for my company that aligns with my overall vision for my life. I decided to build a life by design where my business is secondary to my life. Because for me, because I have a health challenge, I had to build a business that actually doesn't worsen my situation, but actually helps me. So I built a life by design. And I asked myself, based on my vision for my life and my vision for my business, my overall vision for my business, how have I done this year? Did I do anything that helps to move the needle a little forward to the achievement of my overall, my long term vision? So that short term annual vision is actually supposed to be an indicator of the fact that I'm doing something right in my business. So I look at that as well. I look at the strategies that I took at the beginning of the year, how I was able to implement those strategies, where I needed to change my strategies because life can be very unpredictable, and see how the year went. Then I set my goals for the new year. So that's something you want to do annually as well. Then if I have a website or I have any platform where I have like a bio where people can actually see it, if I've had any achievements for the year, I will go to my About Me section and I will include my recent achievements. Was I nominated for an award? Did I win any award? Did I get some kind of recognition? Was I invited to be on TV, on radio, podcasts? Did I start a new program? Did I do something new? Did I add a new brand to my business? What did I achieve? I will add that and update it in my About Me session. I find that many times when I'm invited for speaking engagements, people will just go to my About Me section on my website and pull my bio from there and use that to introduce me when I'm about to speak. So I find that updating it is very, very important so that people don't have outdated or backdated information. Okay. Then I take an annual retreat because I deserve it. If I was an employee, I would be getting at least 2 weeks out of the year to go on vacation or to take like a personal time off. I do that for myself as a business owner as well. It's not healthy to work all the time. It actually helps your business more when you're able to take time off. It's important because it helps you to reset and refresh and have a clear vision for the next year. I also would plan my taxes as well. I usually do my taxes in October, so I plan for my taxes as well. I also look at legal. Are there any legal fees? Is there any, is everything okay with my business on the legal side of things? Then, if I have any annual subscriptions, I will look at them as well. When are they coming up? Are they due for renewal? And how much are they? I plan the budget for those kind of subscriptions as well. So that's what I do on a yearly basis. So you decide what your business year is, and then you can actually work on your yearly plans towards that business year. For some people, their business year usually begins in April during tax season in the United States. For other people, it's October. Other people have like proper calendar years for their business years as well. So it really depends on you. Okay. So the next thing is Bayano. This is basically what I do every half of the year. So it's possible that my second biannual meeting is going to coincide with my annual meeting as well. So biannually means every 6 months there are certain activities I do. Okay, so H1 and H2 here simply mean half one or the first half of the year and then the second half of the year. I always do 6 months business audit so that my final business audit is a lot easier to see and a lot cleaner as well. I also check the legal aspect of my business to make sure that we are in compliance. I also do a strategy check in. At the half mark of the year, I want to make sure that I'm following the strategy, or if I need to not follow the strategy, I need to change something, I can do that. So, for example, at the beginning of 2020, I had an entire strategy. I was going to go out more, I was going to be on TV more, I was going to, have live events. I planned an international live event, but life happened and the world shut down February, March. I had to change my strategy, and to find a new strategy, to rework a new strategy to actually help me to continue to work on that vision while changing the plan. So I have a strategy check-in. Then I have team member appraisal. If you have a team member with you, maybe you work with a virtual assistant, or you work with an EA, or you work with somebody who helps you with your sales, or somebody who does customer service for you, or if it's just yourself, you need to do a team member appraisal. um, there are two things that I like to look out for when it comes to team member appraisals. OKRs are objectives and key results. What objectives did I have for this team member, including myself, because I am a team in my business as well? What were my objectives? What objectives were given to me, or what objectives did I give to my team member? And what were the key results? We now look at the objectives and look at what they've achieved and compare the objectives and the key results to see if they actually make progress. The second thing is KPIs. Everybody knows KPIs, key performance indicators. How do I know that this person is performing, well? What are the indicators that I need to check? So, for example, if somebody is in charge of handling my community, how do I ensure that they're actually doing a good work? Is it growing? Are we having less and less less resolution and need for conflict resolution in the group? What else do I need to look at when it comes to KPIs? I give them a task and I say, okay, this is how I will be able to identify if this task is being done well, or if you're living up to the task or not. Okay, so these are the biannual things that I look out for. Next is quarterly tasks. So quarterly tasks, there are 4 quarters in a year: Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So every 3 months, it makes 1 quarter. So I also do a mini business audit every quarter. I also do a strategy check-in because there are short-term strategies that we employ and want to make sure that they actually work. So there's a strategy check-in. Then we also do a review of short-term goals and the progress that we've made on those goals. So for example, if I have a 90-day launch plan, I would then look at the 90-day launch plan at the end of the quarter to see if it was actually a success or not. So if we had a product launch, if we had a long-term ad strategy, we'll look at the results and see if we made progress or not. Then, apart from an annual growth strategy, we also break those strategies into quarterly goals, okay, and quarterly growth strategies. So there are certain things that I look out for. I call it the ALCR for my business. I look out for audience growth, lead growth, customers growth, and revenue growth. Okay, so audience growth, for example, how much am I growing my email list? How much am I growing my Facebook group? How much am I growing in my on my Instagram page? How much am I growing on my YouTube subscribers? Audience growth. Leads are basically potential customers. Okay, how many people have signed up for my lead magnet? How many people showed up to my webinars? How many people showed up to my launch when I was doing a launch? That's leads. Then customers. How many of those leads actually converted into customers? Organic customers versus customers that I got through ad strategy. What's the number? Okay. How many customers did I get through referrals? How many customers did I get from Facebook? How many customers did I get from Instagram? How many customers did I get from other channels? Then I look at revenue. Based on the customers that I've had, how's my revenue? Is my revenue going up, or is it going down, or is it remaining the same? What were the products that actually made sense to sell during this period? Did I sell more courses, or did I sell more coaching slots? Okay, I look at my revenue. So these are some quarterly growth numbers that I actually look at as well. If I had quarterly launches, so for example, there was a period of time where I did 90-day masterminds. I look at those. So it's a quarterly launch. So I had to launch 4 times in a year. So if I was doing my quarterly activities, quarterly launches would definitely be one of the things I will look at. Then I look at software review and report. Why is this important? Because I want to know if a particular software is working for me or not. So there was a time, for example, that I knew that I needed to change my email service provider. If I hadn't done a software review, I wouldn't have known that something was absolutely wrong with the email service provider I used before and I needed to get a new one. When I changed my email service provider, I found out that my revenue actually went up, even though I had the same number of people. My open rates went up, my click-through rates went up, my conversion rates went up. So I realized that something was wrong with the previous email service provider before because I wasn't having enough open rates. It turns out a lot of my emails were going to spam, and most people don't check their spam. Okay, so you want to do software review and reports to make sure that you're using the right software for your business. Then I look at ideas and innovation or trend spotting. Are there any new ideas or innovative trends that are coming up? Are they useful or not? This enables me to avoid shiny object symptoms and syndromes, and also allows me to be able to be on track to be one of the first on the trends if they are actually going to be useful for my business. So, for example, ChatGPT came. Everybody's talking about ChatGPT. Everybody's talking about Mid Journey. Do I really need those for my business? If I do, how can I utilize them? So, ChatGPT, for example, helps me with content ideas. I'm able to put up an idea into ChatGPT and say, oh, generate 50 pieces of content ideas for me based on this topic. And it actually helps me with my ideation process. So, I know exactly how a particular trend could help me. I do that quarterly as well to be able to ensure that I'm not overwhelming myself with every shiny new thing that comes out. Then I check my sales page and landing pages. Sometimes some links may be obsolete, sometimes some links may not be converting well, sometimes um, an automation sequence needs to be stopped. Maybe if it was for a live launch, for example, I don't need to get people to still keep signing on to an old landing page that an event has already passed for. So I want to be able to check my sales pages and my landing pages and turn stuff off or on when I need to. So that's what I do on a quarterly basis. Then when it comes to monthly basis, every month there are certain things that you must do as a solo business owner. One of the things that I do every month is I plan my content for the month. So for me, I have monthly themes. I follow a theme. I say, okay, this month I'm going to be focusing on recurring income, or I'm going to be focusing on um, memberships, or I'm going to be focusing on email list building, or I'm going to be focusing on book publishing. Whatever it is, I have an idea, a theme for the month. Then I create a plan, a content plan, and then I start breaking down my content creation. Again, ChatGPT helps me with ideas. Canva that I use to design my flyers also helps me with great content as well. I'm able to actually schedule content straight from Canva into my mailing list, into rather into my Facebook groups, into my membership groups, and all of that. So I'm able to do content creation on the fly. I also run monthly challenges inside of my membership, so I'm able to create my content for the monthly challenges and the flyers right there on Canva. I do that every month. Then I also do my income plan. I have my yearly goal that's also broken down into monthly income. So I sit down and say, okay, based on my theme for the month, what's my income goal? This is it. How best will I be able to achieve this income goal? So if I'm focusing on book publishing, for example, it doesn't make sense for me to start thinking of how to make sales from stuff that has nothing to do with book publishing. Instead, I will create content and create sales around my book publishing content, whether I'm doing a book publishing challenge or I'm selling my book publishing course or it's my book publishing ebook, whichever it is, it has to be centered upon that. So it's important to do these plans because it helps you to have an idea how best to follow a proper strategy. Then every month I ask myself, how much do I want to grow my audience this month? How much do I want to increase the number of leads I generate? How many customers do I want to sign in? How many repeat customers? How many new customers? And what's my revenue strategy? And I review all of that at the end of the month as well. So I have those. Am I going to be launching any new products or am I going to be relaunching something I already have? I also plan for that as well. Then I make a business investment budget. I have two budgets. I have a business investment budget. This is basically budget or income that I invest directly into the business. Then I have a personal investments budget. This is basically a budget that I invest into myself because as a personal brand, I am basically the product of the business. So I have to actually if my expertise isn't great, my business will suffer. So I have an investment for myself. So business investment budget includes how much am I going to be spending on ads this month, how much am I going to be spending on freelancers, how much am I going to be spending on my software subscriptions if I have monthly subscriptions, how much am I spending on my salary for my VA if I have VA, you know. So I have those business investment budgets. Then my personal investment budget includes, paying for coaching. I have a coach. I have several coaches. Paying for coaching, paying for certifications if I have to, courses that I would purchase, membership programs that I belong to, masterminds that I belong to, and new books that I would buy. So I have a budget for all of these. So it helps me to be able to plan my income for the month. Then balancing your spreadsheet. So I have a spreadsheet that I use to track all of my activities. I track my income, I track my expenditures, I track all my growth metrics and all my numbers. And at the end of this, I'm actually going to share this spreadsheet with you so that you can actually make a copy for yourself and use it for yourself as well. Then I also check payment links, lead magnets, and bio links, especially for stuff that I'll be putting out and selling for the month. Okay, so lead magnets that I'll be putting out, I check all the links in bio that needs to be updated. I check all of those as well. Payment links, I also check them to make sure that they're working as well. Okay, so that's the things that I do every month. Now, weekly goals are things that I do. I usually set my goals for the week on Sunday evenings, because my week begins on Monday. Okay. So I do weekly goal settings. I also forgot to add something in the monthly. Monthly here, I usually also update my calendar, my appointment calendar, so people don't book coaching uh, coaching calls or appointment calls when I may have maybe a speaking engagement, or I need to go to the doctor, or I just need time to take care of myself. I don't want to have, to start canceling or rescheduling events. So I usually will go to my appointment calendar. I use Calendly. I go to my appointment calendar and I just block out those times or the days that I need to be free, so that I don't have conflicting interests on those days. So that's one thing I do on the monthly basis. I just remember that I didn't add it here. So, weekly goal setting is one of the things that I do. Then I plan my income strategy for the week. Okay, so this is a bit more concentrated than the monthly strategy, because I'm like, okay, this I have 6 days, or I have 5 days. What am I going to do this week to ensure that I'm making money in my business? What's my sales strategy going to be like? Okay, so my sales strategy is very tied to my content strategy, because content really helps me in sales. Am I going to be selling through Instagram stories? Am I going to be selling through my email? Am I going to be selling through Facebook groups? Am I going to be doing a webinar? Am I going to be doing some sort of series or a challenge to sell? I plan all of that for the week. I plan my lead acquisition as well. What um, lead magnet am I going to be pushing this week? And how am I going to be nurturing them? Is my automation sequence turned on? I have to check all of that as well. Newsletters. I send newsletters every week to my mailing list to keep them active. What am I going to be sending them this week? So usually I send like a Monday dispatch on Monday. So sometimes I would actually plan my Monday dispatch on Sunday before, and then scheduling it to go live on Monday at 6 p.m. That's when it usually goes up. Then I also plan for my client follow up. So every week I follow up with clients that maybe needed a consultation, or want to work with me for my book publishing services, or want to sign up for my coaching, or asking questions about my membership. I follow up on that. Then there's also product delivery. So if, for example, I've worked with a client and their book is ready and they need to review it before we get to publishing, I will deliver the product. Or maybe I've sold something, I make sure that whatever digital product I sold is actually properly delivered. Then I also follow that up with customer service. I have a VA that actually helps with customer service, but sometimes I like to be hands on as well. So I do customer service work, process improvement. So, for example, if there was a glitch with product delivery, how do we improve the process to ensure that it doesn't happen again? Okay, so I'm constantly looking for ways to improve processes so that it becomes easier for me to do. Then I also plan, create, and promote ads if I haven't done them before. So if I don't have any ongoing ads, or I'm planning to add new ads, I can do that every week. Then I check in with my VA every week. This is something I struggle with. I'm probably sure she will listen to this. I probably trust her a bit too much, that I don't always check in with her, but I should. But she knows what she needs to do. She has a task. I have my task. We trust each other to do them. But when it's time to check in and carry out a task, it's very instantaneous. So I have a very good relationship with my VA, and she's fantastic for me. Then the next thing is the daily tasks. These are your to do list every day. Okay, so I have an almost uniform or constant daily task, except on days when I maybe have like a major thing, like maybe I have a launch, or maybe I have a webinar, or maybe I have a speaking engagement. Those kind of things may change, but usually my activities are about the same. So I write out my to-do list the night before. Then I check my emails and respond to inquiries, because time difference. So sometimes I may wake up to new emails about inquiries. I also create and post unscheduled content. Sometimes I may wake up with an idea for, or an inspiration for a post. I may post it and create it and post it. Then I also check social media platforms because people find you all over the place. I've gotten leads from LinkedIn and Twitter, and I'm not even as active there. So I try as much as possible once a day to go around all those social media platforms to just check to make sure that I'm not missing out on any inquiries. Then I also check my DMs, check for DM inquiries, and then I follow up with DMs that I may have gotten previously that maybe the client hasn't responded to. Then I also check in with my clients and my students in my coaching, my memberships, my mastermind. I have a Facebook group for my membership, so I always check in there every day to make sure that I'm not missing out on any questions that anybody may have asked me or somebody needing help with something in there. Okay, I also try to post there as much as possible to encourage them or to give them new content or give any kind of announcement that needs to be shared there. Then if I have ads that are running, I check my ad performance. I have the ad app on my phone, so it's easy for me to check it even if I'm on the go. All right, so I check my ad performance and I adjust if necessary. I've had to turn off 4 ads in the past 6 days that were not performing the way I expected them to, but I have like 4 other ads currently running at right now as at the time of this video. So I'm constantly checking them to make sure that they're delivering as they should. Then I also do product creation as well. So this is like the actual grind of the work. So if I'm writing a book, either for myself or for a client, I will do that. I dedicate a period of time to do that. If I'm creating a new course and I need to record videos or do slides, I will do all of those as well. Videos like this one I'm currently doing, I also do that as well every day. Then client work delivery. So done for you services for clients. I also deliver their work as well. So I have certain clients that may want me to make a workbook for them or to help them create a curriculum for their course or a curriculum for their training or webinar. I do that and I deliver it to them. Or someone that helps needs me to help them with doing like an audit for their social media or check out their book and give their ideas or check out their ideas or their business plan or their launch plan and wants me to help them strategically. I do all of those as well. Then I take my appointment calls, my coaching calls, consultations, and if I have training, speakings, or webinars, I do all of that. Those are my daily activities. So you see that having some sort of structure or an idea what you need to be doing, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, twice a year, and even annually helps you to feel more confident, more self assured in your business, to feel like you have a bit more structure, and to understand the progression of your business as well. You actually feel like a business because you're covering business activities. Again, you see that it's really not that complicated. It's really not that difficult because all of these things are tied to your businesses. Now, you will look at these tasks and say, oh, they seem a bit too much. Maybe, I need to outsource some of them. And that's very good. And that's why having business structure is important because it helps you to realize where you may be spending so much energy on tasks or activities that do not necessarily bring in money, even though they are important. So those are the kind of tasks that you want to outsource to your virtual assistant or to a freelancer or to whoever is going to be helping you or coming on your team, in your business. And again, you're very free to add or remove based on the uniqueness of your business. Every business has different unique situations and different things they offer. This is just a very generalized one. So you can add your specific tasks or remove things that do not necessarily apply to your business, as I've shared. Okay. Now you may be saying, oh, how do I get all these things? All these things are really, really cool. I would like to have them, but do I sit down and start taking notes? Not necessarily. I've created or I have my solo business owner activity sheet that I use to track all my activities in my business. These things I've shared with you right now, they're on the business activity sheet that I use on Google Sheets. And I use Google Sheets because it's a lot easier to share with my assistant. It's a lot easier to share with other people as well. And you can actually make a copy of this and open it in your own Google Sheets, either in your app or Google Sheets on Chrome and use it. So as you use it, you actually are able to then check things off the list. So it's dated. It has like the yearly task, for example, goes up to 2030. The biannual task goes all the way from January to December, so you can start whenever you are. The quarterly task has like Q1 to Q4 for several years, and the quarterly tasks and all of the other tasks as well. And you can actually edit it and add as you go. So it's something that you can use for years and years to come. And I've made it absolutely free for you. So just go on to bit.ly/solo dash business. That's the link in blue. And if you go to bit.ly slash solo dash business, you'll be able to get this absolutely free. So once you put in your name and your email address, I'll actually send it directly to you, to your inbox immediately. Okay, so you can actually download it. It will open and it will tell you to make a copy. You make a copy and you can use that copy, and nobody else is going to see it unless you decide to share it with other people as well. And do let me know how you use it. Do let me know how you customize it. Do let me know if it's actually really, really awesome for you. And you can actually add more activities and more. So there are check boxes, as you can see, those tiny boxes in there. So you to check when you've done an activity, you can just check it off, so that it's easy for you to actually track your performance and track your activities as well. Okay, so if you don't open it in Google Sheets, because it was made on Google Sheets, if you don't open it on Google Sheets, it may not actually show the check boxes, but it's still fine. You can still use it the way it is. You can just put done, edit it and put done if you want. But I would really, really advise you to use Google Sheets, so that you can actually have it on the cloud, and you can, even if you lose your phone or you lose your laptop, you can still have access to it. Okay, so let me know what you think. If you have any questions concerning what I've shared, or you want me to share something else, relating to this, let me know in the comment section. In another video, I'll do a separate video on numbers you should look out for in your small business, as a solo entrepreneur as well. But for this video, I hope that you've gotten a lot of value from this, and you've actually decided, okay, I know what I should be doing now to structure my business, so that I don't scratch my head every morning when I wake up. All right. Let me know if you like this. Let me know if you see other video like this. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in another video.